Is it best to worship the impersonal, absolute, or personal form? And then that forms the 12th chapter. And Krishna elaborates on, in that forms the first part of the 12th chapter, and then the second part is Krishna describing the glories of, three parts. First, how the personal and impersonal meditation, and the second part is various ways to approach Krishna, and that he is pure devotee, decorated with all good qualities, very dear to Krishna. And in the 13th chapter again, the living being in this material world, how he is in this material world accompanied by the super soul. Krishna manifests himself also in the material world as the super soul. 14th chapter deals with the laws of material nature. Again, more understanding of this material world, how we are to understand it, and of the person who is beyond the material laws of nature. And then in the 15th chapter, Krishna makes the distinction, which is a very clear distinction between himself and the living beings, the jivas. 16th chapter describes mostly the demoniac people. In 17th chapter, again, more discussion of the modes of nature with the three kinds of Shraddha, three kinds of faith. And that continues into the 18th chapter. And then we come to this again, the most confident. Krishna speaking so many things, but the real point is to come to this, to always think of Krishna and to surrender to him. And that's the next two verses, and to go to him. So Krishna says, this is my most confidential. This is really the best thing I've got to tell you. I've told you so many things, but now I'm going to tell you, which is really the best. So imagine if you had God in front of you telling you, I'm going to tell you what's for your best benefit. So anyway, there are so many cheaters may come and say, and then there are so many cheaters who come in the public. Now I'm going to tell you the best benefit. So many cheating, so-called gurus. What if you had God yourself standing in front of you saying, now I'm going to give you the formula by which you can get your best benefit. And Krishna says, I'm going to speak Ishto Sime, Duram, because you're very close to me. You're very dear to me. So I'm going to speak this to you. Krishna speaks other things to other people. Through the Vedic knowledge, he speaks all kinds of things. Karma, Jnana, Yoga, worship of different demigods. And through various cheaters, in a reverse way, they can be understood to be representatives of Krishna. In a reverse way, yeah. For people who want to be cheated, there are so many cheaters. So Krishna gives them the intelligence by which they can cheat others, and Krishna gives to people who want to be cheated the intelligence by which they think that what the cheaters say is actually true. And although the so-called Satya Sai Baba's popularity has gone down, but it used to be, it's good, something good in this Kali. Of course, other people have come up. But we used to see that there are many highly intelligent people from the material point of view. Doctors and scientists, ISRO scientists, who believed that Sai Baba was God. Against any logic or reason or shastra, the evidence is that he says so and he does some tricks. And he becomes God. And people, materially intelligent, spiritually, as Prabhupada would say, fool number one. he often said fool number one. So there are many in that category. Most foolish kind of people. So Krishna, he didn't speak this to Duryodhana. If Krishna came to Duryodhana and said, I'll teach you now I'll say what's for your best benefit. And Duryodhana, he said, give me a means by which I can kill all the Pandavas. That's what Duryodhana would want, isn't it? Or Dhritarashtra. Huh? What about anyone? You go and say, now, of course, if Krishna himself came in front of people, they wouldn't recognize him. But yeah, some yogi comes and say, genie in the bottle pops out and says, now you can have whatever you want. What will the average person, just on the spot, what do I want? You can have anything you want. What would they say? There is a story of the woman in the forest collecting firewood. So the women will go in the forest together and collect firewood, and they'll bundle it up. They help each other put on their head, and then they'll go and walk back to the village and either use the firewood themselves or sell it like that. And so somehow this woman was going, she'd become separated from the other woman. She was going alone through the forest, and she tripped, and the bundle of heavy bundle. You see these women, little, very thin women, they carry them. I don't think any of us could carry them. They're very strong, these women who do that. So it fell down, and she was in a fix because she'd worked so hard to collect all of that, and it fell down. She could carry it, but to get it up on her head is a big job. So she called out in frustration, oh, Govinda, Govinda, because she is after all a Hayat lady. Govinda, Govinda. So then a beautiful young boy, bluish black color, comes in front and says, yes, what do you want? He said, oh, you came, very good. Just put this firewood back on my head. That Govinda, when we go to Tirumala, we hear that, Govinda, Govinda, calling out, Govinda, Govinda. Everyone goes there for something they want. We go to temples because we want something. So that's pious. But what do people ask for? They could ask for pure devotional service, but people ask for visas for America, pass their exam, cure their illness, and so on. Maybe the visa to America went down after the request went down in Tirumala when Visa Ganesh came up in Chennai. You know about that? Didn't know? Oh, there are 3 trains a day from Mangalore to Chennai. There's a Visa Ganesh, best for getting American visas. You could fly also via Bangalore. So Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. Arjuna has enough sense to recognize what is the best thing. And even there are many people who read Bhagavad Gita or comment on Bhagavad Gita, and although it's absolutely clear that the best thing that Krishna is giving is to be his pure devotee, but people, they're envious of Krishna, they don't want that, and they reinterpret it. Just like this Prabhupada, he was so angry against this rascal, as he called him, Dr. Radha Krishna, on this Manmana Bhavamad Bhakta verse in the 9th chapter. Dr. Radha Krishnan, in his commentary on Gita, he's supposed to be a very big philosopher. He's famous as the first president of independent India. Was it the first? I believe so. Second. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the first, was it? For all it's worth. So he's famous as the President of India, but before that he was famous as a great philosopher, an Oxford philosopher. So he was a great philosopher, and he wrote his purport, or his commentary on that Manmanabhava verse in the 9th chapter, saying that so envious. He wrote that it is, when Krishna is saying directly to always think of me, Krishna is giving that instruction, and he says, it is not to the person Krishna that we have to think, but the unborn eternal within Krishna. Such a rascal that Krishna is directly saying, always think of me. And he's so envious that he changes it. He said, don't think of Krishna. Think of the unborn eternal within Krishna, which Krishna didn't say. Krishna makes it so clear and so easy that anyone who knows any Indian language can follow it very. Mandana, then you can, that means to me, mana, man, think of, mad bhakta. It's very easy to understand. It's not difficult Sanskrit at all. It's practically when the children are being taught Sanskrit, they could. This Bhagavad Gita is very easy. Of course, it has a lot of philosophical terms. But the structure of the language is extremely easy. And actually in Bhagavad Gita we find that if you find the vocabulary of Bhagavad Gita, it's only a few words which are being used all the time. There are many, many words which are used again and again in Gita, like Atma, Yoga, Karma, Jnana, Guna. The same words being used. Yajna, of course, Dharma, Sattva, Raja, Tama, all the same words are being used again and again. So it's very easy to understand. So Radha Krishna, he very nice name, huh? Very nice name, but he became a demon. Prabhupada knew him personally. He was a professor in Calcutta, even Calcutta University, before he went to Oxford. So Prabhupada, the Gaudiya Math people, they knew him. They used to invite him to this and that, invite him to programs. He didn't attend. But we can also think, if Krishna comes directly in front of us and says, well, I'm going to tell you the best thing. Oh, you're going to make me a sannyasi. You're going to make me a guru. BBC. We may have so many material desires also. We may have so many material desires. There's a story, I don't know where it came from. I heard it from Bhakti Swami many years ago, and I've heard it elsewhere since then. I don't know if it's Puranic. I'll tell it anyway. Maybe if Krishna comes in front of me, I'll ask him for some jamming device for people's phones during classes. Because I'm so fed up with people's phones going off in the classes. So the story is that man is very nicely worshipping Krishna, doing his puja every day. So Narad Muni sees him, and Narad Muni comes down out of the sky and says, oh, you're worshipping Krishna so nicely. So I can arrange for you to go back to Godhead right now. You're such a great devotee. He said, not right now. I've got my family responsibility. Come out for a little time. got to get my sons and daughters married first of all. So now he comes out for a little time. The man is very old. Sons and daughters are married. He says, okay, now you can come with me back to Godhead. You're such a great devotee. He said, no, I can't go right now because you see the children are newly married, got to give them a little guidance, and grandchildren are there. So now Moni comes another time and finds that he's become a snake in the courtyard. He says, what happened? How did you become a snake? I don't know, but anyway, don't ask me to go back to Godhead because I've got to protect the family. So that's it in short. The idea that someone may appear to be very devoted, but they have so many ulterior motives. A practical example of that we can find in our lives is that we may have the opportunity to serve Krishna, just like there's a whole big city, we have books, we go out and distribute them, but we have other things. Validly, we may have other things to do, but it may be that sometimes we find some excuse not to do it. An anecdote that was told to me by one of my godbrothers many years ago, I think this was even before, before Srila Prabhupada passed away from our mortal vision. He was doing Buddhist, he's a German devotee doing book distribution in Germany, where it gets very cold and lots of snow, mostly in Germany in the winter. So he was on a traveling sankirtan party, and one morning it was extremely cold, heavy snow, and he thought, he was the leader of the party, and he thought, well, why don't we just take a break today, go on with the distribution. We consider, read, we'll do something Krishna conscious. And then he saw the people all going to work. He thought, well, if they can go to work, the men working on the road, digging the road. He thought, well, if they can go out in the cold, digging the road, just to get some money for sense gratification, we can go out in the difficult conditions and give them books and take the money which they would otherwise use for sense gratification. So what do we want? Actually, that happened in the Mahaprakash of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One time in Navadvip, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had returned from Gaya as a very different person. Before he went to Gaya, he appeared to be a cocky young scholar, not very interested in devotion to Krishna. When he came back, he was absolutely intoxicated in love of Krishna. And shortly after that, he wanted to reveal to all the devotees that he is Krishna himself. So he did so in a 21-hour rhapsody. And all the devotees were with him, and they were just seeing he's directly Krishna. And then at one point, he gave them, he said, what do you want? He said to everyone, what do you want? What benediction do you want? So and different devotees were asking for different things. That you make me, please give me pure devotional service to your lotus feet. Please give me the association of devotees life after life. Please make me a proper servant of my guru. So many devotees were asking for different benedictions. Just on the spot. We didn't have time to think about it. So we can also think, what do we want? Actually, it's good to ask ourselves from time to time, what do we want? We're here by Srila Prabhupada's mercy in this Krishna conscious movement. What do we want? What is our aim in life? What are we doing? We should always keep it in mind what we are doing, why we are doing it. Otherwise, what we are doing, if we don't have a clear understanding of why we're doing it, we may end up with something else. There was one devotee, he's probably passed away now. He was from Madras, as it was known at the time. And he was actually initiated in the Gauriya Math. But he was living in ISKCON. And he did very humble service all day. He was well educated, spoke excellent English, which in the 1970s wasn't so common. He did very humble menial services, and he just had rags. He wore very poor clothes, But you could give him a lakh of rupees and send him to deliver it, and no problem. He'd go the cheapest way possible and deliver it and come back. But he was very clear to everyone, I'm doing this because I know Bhakti is the most powerful process, and I want to go to Swarga. So I'm going to do Bhakti very sincerely, and I'll go to Swarga. That was his aim, and no one could convince him otherwise. Then we remember Dhruv Maharaj, his example. I was searching for broken glass and I got a diamond. He wanted the big kingdom, greater than that of Lord Brahma. That's pretty ambitious for a young boy. He wants a kingdom better than that of Lord Brahma. But then when he got the darshan of Krishna, he thought, oh, what a useless thing I was looking for. What a useless thing I was looking for. But I got Krishna, the best thing. I was looking for little bits of broken glass, and I got the most valuable diamond. That was by the mercy of Narad Muni upon him. So we can all ask ourselves that, well, what is our aspiration? We may have immediate ones, just like there's an aspiration here. Now Nishtha Prabhu wants to build a temple for Krishna, Radha Govinda here in Mangalore. So that's an immediate aspiration. And you want to get that farm in Andhra Pradesh, where you got the land. Now you have to get the money, so that if someone asks you, what do you want? I want a lot of money. Is that why you came to see me? I don't have it. So you may have immediate aspiration. But what is our ultimate, our highest aspiration? Okay, what do you want? I'm not Krishna, but I can ask on behalf. What do you want? Pure devotional service. Okay, you want pure devotional. Sure you want that? Means no material attachments. Every second, completely surrendered to Krishna. Whatever happens, under any circumstances. Sure? Draupadi was dragged in the assembly. Her cloth was being torn off. She didn't say, oh, I got to do this. I thought I was a devotee of Krishna, and look what happened. But there's nothing worse for her that have happened in her life. If anyone had thought, if she could think what's the worst thing possible, she couldn't even imagine. It was unimaginable how in her contaminated period that made it even worse. She was dragged by her hair, the queen. She didn't know about the gambling, right? She was dragged by her hair in front of Dhritarashtra and Bhishma, who she looked to as her protectors, as very venerable people, and she said, what is Dharma? And they wouldn't say. They wouldn't say. She couldn't imagine. Even Bhishma, he waffled. Well, it's very difficult to understand Dharma. It is obvious. This is the biggest adharma. It's absolutely obvious, but no one would protect her. She couldn't. No one could have imagined. She didn't say, oh, as a devotee of Krishna, what's the use of Krishna? I mean, that's really, are we ready for that? If we say pure devotion, are we really ready? I mean, it's not likely that someone's going to take you into the middle of Mangalore and strip your clothes off, but anything can happen. Devotees have been tortured, and actually the devotees who try most for Krishna, they usually suffer the most, at least materially it seems. Haridas Thakur, Jesus Christ, Prabhupada gave the example. Prabhupada was sitting in Vrindavan, he could have lived very comfortably. He took so much trouble, we don't realize. Heart attack, struggle, living among the intoxicated people. No one listening to him in the beginning. Even when he started the movement, there's so many problems actually all the time. We don't hear about that so much. We hear about there are many good things going, many difficult things, so many difficult things. Are we really ready for that? Who dares to pray as Kunti Devi prayed? Vipada Santita Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagat Guru Bhavato Darshanam Yatsa Apuna Bhava Darshanam. Give me more and more difficulties so that I can see you and we won't see repeated birth and death. Who can pray like that? I'm not saying don't pray for pure devotional service, but we should know that it's not cheap. It's not that we indulge in all kinds of whimsical things and also have pure devotional service. It's a heavy thing for Arjuna. It was really heavy. Now he's got to kill the people who he has to kill the people he loved the most. And Krishna is telling him to do it. And Krishna also has love for Bhishma and Drona. It's very difficult. It may be very difficult for Arjuna to understand. Krishna didn't exactly explain all that. Why? Krishna says, well, you have to do what I say, and I'm telling you to fight. But exactly the point that why Bhishma? Why Drona? That Arjuna, he brought that objection. That, oh, I don't have any problem fighting. I fought so many times. But why? Why Krishna? How can I attack him? And Krishna didn't even exactly answer that point. He just said it's your duty as a Kshatriya to fight, and you have to do what I say. And he explained to Arjuna why you have to do what I say, and Arjuna was ready to do that. With that. But why exactly? Why is it so? Why Bhishma? Why Drona? Anyone else? Why them? But there's no unconditional. You may not even understand everything. Why Krishna is doing things. Unconditional. It's we should go on praying for pure devotional service and know that we can attain it. But at the same time, we should be aware that we may have to face so many difficulties. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made it very easy in this Kali Yuga by chanting the holy names.